My beloved brothers and sisters, we live in a world where love is marketed, packaged, and sold for a single day. One date on the calendar is chosen, and suddenly everyone is told, this is the day you must prove your love. Gifts are exchanged, words are spoken, emotions run high, and then the next day, life goes back to normal. This makes us pause and ask an important question. Is love really meant to be celebrated for just one day? Islam teaches us something far deeper and far more beautiful. Love in Islam is not an event, it is a way of living. It is not confined to flowers, chocolates, or public displays. It is reflected in character, responsibility, sacrifice, and sincerity. Love is shown when no one is watching, not when the cameras are on. True love begins with loving the one who created love itself. When the heart is connected to Allah, love becomes balanced. It does not become obsession, and it does not lead to regret. A heart that knows its creator will love others with mercy, patience, and wisdom. Without that connection, love often turns into pain, disappointment, and emptiness. We must understand that Islam does not deny love. Islam protects love. It places it in a framework where hearts are not broken, dignity is not lost, and souls are not damaged. That is why Islam draws clear boundaries, not to make life difficult, but to save us from harm we may not see in the moment. Real love is respectful. It does not pressure someone into sin. It does not say, if you love me, you will disobey Allah. Instead, it says, if I love you, I want goodness for you in this life and the next. That kind of love elevates you. It brings peace, not anxiety. It brings stability, not confusion. Look at how Islam presents marriage. Marriage is not about one romantic day in the year. It is about daily love, being patient when you are tired, forgiving when you are hurt, remaining loyal when it is difficult. It is about waking up every day and choosing kindness again and again. That is love, quiet, consistent, and sincere. And love in Islam is not limited to spouses. Loving your parents through respect and service, loving your children through time and guidance, loving people through honesty, fairness, and compassion. Even a smile is considered an act of love and charity. Imagine that, something so small yet so beloved. When trends tell us love must be loud, Islam reminds us love should be pure. When society tells us love must be proven publicly, Islam teaches us that the most valuable love is often private, protected, and blessed. When the world says love expires, Islam says love grows when it is nurtured the right way. So ask yourself, do we want a love that lasts one day or a love that lasts a lifetime and beyond? Do we want love that fades with emotions or love that strengthens with faith? Every single day is an opportunity to love the halal way. Every day you choose patience over anger, mercy over harshness, loyalty over temptation. You are celebrating love. And that love, my dear brothers and sisters, is far more meaningful than anything limited to a date on the calendar. We live in a time where love has been reduced to a moment, a celebration, a single day in the year when emotions are amplified and expectations are raised. People are told that if love is real, it must be proven on that specific day. Gifts must be exchanged, words must be spoken, and gestures must be made, otherwise love is questioned. Yet when that day passes, many return to neglect, harshness, and emotional distance. This reality invites us to reflect deeply on what love truly means and whether love was ever meant to be limited to a date on the calendar. Islam teaches us that love is not seasonal. It is not tied to trends, marketing campaigns, or social pressure. Love in Islam is a continuous commitment that flows through everyday actions, intentions, and choices. It is present when you are patient with someone who tests you, when you forgive even though you are capable of holding a grudge, and when you choose kindness despite being tired or hurt. This kind of love does not need an announcement because it is lived daily. When Islam speaks about love, it begins by shaping the heart. A heart that is connected to Allah understands that love is a responsibility, not just a feeling. Feelings rise and fall, but responsibility remains. That is why Islam does not build relationships solely on emotion. Instead, it builds them on mercy, trust, loyalty, and accountability. When love is rooted in these values, it becomes stable and lasting rather than fragile and temporary. Consider how Islam encourages believers to show love in the smallest, most consistent ways. A gentle word is love. Restraining anger is love. Making dua for someone in their absence is love. Even earning halal income to support your family is an act of love. These are not actions that can be confined to one day They are meant to be practiced throughout life. This teaches us that love is not about intensity, but about consistency. The problem with celebrating love for one day is that it can create an illusion. People may feel valued for a few hours and ignored for the rest of the year. Islam does not want love to be an occasional performance. It wants love to be sincere and constant. A spouse who is kind every day is far more loving than one who is romantic once a year. A parent who listens regularly is more loving than one who gives gifts without time or attention. Islam also reminds us that love should bring peace, not anxiety. When love is tied to pressure, expectations, and fear of loss, it becomes exhausting. But when love is grounded in faith, it brings calmness to the heart. You love knowing that Allah is aware of your intentions, your sacrifices, and your patience. Even if people fail to appreciate your love, Allah never overlooks it. Another powerful lesson Islam teaches is that love grows through effort. It deepens with patience, understanding, and shared values. It is not something that appears suddenly and disappears just as quickly. Love matures when two people choose to please Allah together, when they support each other's spiritual growth, and when they face challenges without abandoning each other. This kind of love cannot be reduced to a celebration. It is a journey. So when we ask whether love is only for one day, Islam answers clearly through its teachings and values. Love is for every prayer you make for someone else. Every time you hold back hurtful words, every moment you choose mercy over ego. Love is meant to be lived, not scheduled. And when love is practiced as a way of life, it becomes a source of blessing, stability, and goodness in this world and the next. In a world where love is often measured by what is seen, photographed, and shared, many have come to believe that public display is proof of sincerity. The louder the declaration, the stronger the love is assumed to be. Yet Islam gently corrects this understanding and reminds us that real love is not about performance, it is about protection. True love is not concerned with showing off emotions to the world, but with safeguarding the dignity, honor, and emotional well-being of the other person. Islam places immense value on modesty, not because emotions are wrong, but because emotions are powerful. When feelings are exposed without boundaries, they can easily lead to regret, exploitation, and heartbreak. That is why Islam teaches that love should be expressed in ways that are respectful and responsible. A person who truly loves another will never push them into something that compromises their faith or self-worth. Instead, they will seek what is beneficial for them, even if it requires patience and restraint. Public displays often focus on the excitement of the moment, but Islam focuses on the consequences of actions. Words spoken in front of others may sound beautiful, but what happens when those words are not backed by commitment? What happens when promises are made casually and broken easily? Islam teaches us that love is proven of actions that endure, not emotions that fade. Protecting someone's honor, guarding their reputation, and avoiding situations that may harm them emotionally are among the greatest signs of sincere love. Respectful love understands boundaries. It does not say, if you care about me, you will cross limits. Instead, it says, because I care about you, I will respect the limits set by Allah. This type of love is mature and selfless. It prioritizes long-term well-being over short-term pleasure. It recognizes that real affection does not need constant validation from others. It finds contentment in knowing that Allah is pleased. Islam also reminds us that what is private is often more meaningful. A kind word spoken in private, a sincere apology, a quiet act of service. These carry more weight than grand gestures made for attention. Love that is hidden from people but known to Allah carries barakah. It builds trust rather than insecurity and strengthens bonds rather than weakening them. When love is kept within appropriate boundaries, it becomes something sacred rather than something consumed. There is also wisdom in Islam's emphasis on lowering the gaze and guarding interactions. These teachings are not about suppression, but about discipline. They protect the heart from becoming attached too quickly and too deeply in ways that may lead to pain. When love develops in a halal and respectful manner, it is allowed to grow naturally and safely. When it is rushed and exposed, it often burns out just as quickly. Respectful love is patient. It does not demand immediate gratification. It understands that some things are worth waiting for. This patience itself becomes a form of devotion. Choosing restraint for the sake of Allah strengthens the soul and purifies intention. Such love is not weakened by time, it is strengthened by it. In Islam, love that respects boundaries is love that lasts. It is not shaken by opinions, trends, or social pressure. It is rooted in values that remain firm even when emotions fluctuate. And when love is built on respect rather than display, it becomes a source of peace rather than confusion, dignity rather than regret, and blessing rather than loss. Love is one of the most beautiful emotions that Allah has placed in the human heart, yet it is meant to be guided and refined, not left to wander freely without direction. Islam teaches us that true love begins with our relationship with Allah. When the heart is connected to its Creator, love flows naturally, purely, and in balance. Without this connection, love can become overwhelming, confusing, and even destructive. Many people chase emotions, attachments, or infatuations, only to find themselves disappointed, heartbroken, or lost. Islam offers a framework that allows love to be a source of peace, growth, and blessing, rather than chaos and pain. When we love Allah first, our love for others takes on a higher purpose. It is no longer just about personal desire, fleeting emotions, or selfish need. Instead, it becomes an expression of mercy, compassion, and responsibility. A person who fears Allah in their relationships will naturally treat others with kindness, patience, and respect. They will avoid actions that may harm the one they love, because their love is filtered through faith and awareness of Allah's commands. This type of love is balanced. It does not overwhelm the mind, cloud judgment, or lead to reckless behavior. It is steady, intentional, and sincere. Islam encourages us to love in ways that build character. When the heart is connected to Allah, love becomes a means of improvement, not destruction. It encourages patience when faced with challenges, forgiveness when hurt, and humility when pride might otherwise take over. This love does not seek to dominate or control, but to nurture and elevate. A love rooted in Allah allows the believer to maintain respect for the other person's dignity, to honor their feelings, and to avoid actions that may bring regret. It transforms love into a positive force that strengthens both hearts and souls. The Prophet taught that love and faith are intertwined. When a person's heart is guided by Allah, they naturally seek what is halal, beneficial, and honorable in love. Impulses and fleeting desires are controlled, and actions are filtered through wisdom and morality. This means love becomes a source of blessing rather than temptation. People who love in this way are not anxious about public opinion, trends, or temporary emotions. Their love is private, sincere, and rooted in long-term good. Another important aspect of love that begins with Allah is that it teaches contentment and gratitude. A heart that loves Allah recognizes the value of the other person, not because of beauty, wealth, or status, but because of character, piety, and the way they contribute to goodness in life. This creates love that is enduring, not superficial. It does not fade with circumstances because it is grounded in principles, not whims. This is why many fleeting romances fail, but love built on faith thrives, even under pressure. Love that starts with Allah also protects from extreme emotions that may harm the heart. It creates a balance between affection and reason, desire and discipline. When the heart is attached to the Creator, it does not panic when challenges arise, nor does it feel despair when the relationship faces tests. Instead, it is guided by patience, prayer, and reflection. This love grows gradually, steadily, and in a way that strengthens both individuals and their connection to Allah. Ultimately, Islam shows us that love is not just a feeling, it is a responsibility, a discipline, and a form of worship. When it is anchored in Allah, love becomes pure, selfless, and balanced. It does not lead to pain or harm, but to peace, trust, and blessings. A heart guided by Allah will love in ways that are patient, respectful, and enduring. Love begins with Allah, and from that source it flows naturally to parents, spouses, children, and all of creation in ways that bring comfort to the heart and pleasure to the one who created it. Marriage in Islam is not simply a social contract or a romantic arrangement. It is a sacred bond, a partnership built on mutual respect, love, and responsibility. Love in this context is not about fleeting emotions or temporary attraction. It is about commitment, sacrifice, and patience. Many people look at love in today's world as something that should always be thrilling and immediate. But Islam teaches that true love in marriage is a journey, one that requires effort every single day and that grows stronger with understanding, perseverance, and shared faith. The love that Islam promotes within marriage is practical and enduring. It is expressed through actions, not just words. A husband who wakes up to fulfill his responsibilities, support his family, and treat his wife with kindness is showing love. A wife who offers patience, care, and understanding in difficult moments is showing love. Islam teaches that love is built on consistency, not grand gestures on occasional days. It is in the small acts of service, the daily words of encouragement, and the unspoken sacrifices that love truly flourishes. Patience is one of the most important elements of love in marriage. Life is full of challenges, differences, and misunderstandings. A spouse may be tired, stressed, or make mistakes, and it is in those moments that love is tested. Islam teaches that enduring hardship together, forgiving each other's shortcomings, and maintaining a calm and compassionate demeanor are forms of expressing love. Love is not merely an emotion that fades when difficulties arise. It is a commitment that strengthens through trials. A heart that loves for the sake of Allah will be patient, tolerant, and steadfast, knowing that every act of patience and forgiveness is rewarded and valued. Sacrifice is another pillar of love in marriage. Both spouses are encouraged to put the needs of the family above personal desires at times, to compromise when disagreements occur, and to support each other's growth. This does not mean one person bears the burden alone, but rather that both partners contribute equally in different ways to create harmony and balance. Sacrifice in marriage is not loss. It is the cultivation of trust, respect, and mutual dependence, which are essential for long-lasting love. Islam also emphasizes communication and understanding. Love grows when spouses listen to one another, empathize, and make sincere efforts to resolve conflicts. Harsh words, neglect, or disrespect can damage hearts, whereas gentle speech, encouragement, and appreciation nurture love. Even small gestures like smiling, acknowledging effort, and expressing gratitude strengthen the bond. These are daily expressions of love that accumulate over time, far more valuable than a single dramatic declaration on a specific day. Another key aspect of Islamic love in marriage is shared spirituality. When both partners encourage each other to pray, remember Allah, and live in accordance with His guidance, love takes on a deeper meaning. It becomes not only emotional and physical, but also spiritual. Couples who grow together in faith often find that their relationship withstands challenges more effectively, because it is rooted in something eternal rather than temporary feelings. In today's world, where love is often portrayed as instant and fleeting, the Islamic view offers a profound contrast. It shows that love is not measured by grand gestures on Valentine's Day or by momentary passion, but by continuous effort, patience, and mutual care. Marriage is a lifelong journey, where love is renewed daily, strengthened through sacrifice, and anchored in faith. The daily acts of respect, kindness, understanding, and devotion are what make love enduring, beautiful, and blessed. In this light, love in Islam is not a fleeting emotion. It is a practice, a responsibility, and a source of peace that lasts a lifetime. In today's world, love is often presented as something fleeting, fashionable, or dependent on social trends. Magazines, social media, movies, and advertisements tell us that love should be dramatic, attention-grabbing, and instantaneous. People are encouraged to chase feelings, to act impulsively, and to measure their relationships by how exciting or visible they appear. But Islam teaches us that love is far more profound and far more enduring than any cultural trend or passing fad. While emotional trends change with seasons, Islamic values regarding love remain constant, timeless, and protective. Culture often portrays love as an event, something that rises and falls with excitement, that can be ignited with romance for a day, a week, or a season, and then quickly fade. It is easy to be swept away by the thrill of new emotions, by the pressure to perform, or by the desire to fit in with what society celebrates. Yet the emotional highs of today often lead to the lows of tomorrow. When love is dictated by trends, it can be unstable and unreliable, leaving hearts empty and relationships fragile. Islam recognizes this reality and provides a framework to safeguard love from these fluctuations, grounding it in principles that are unchanging. Islam teaches that love is meant to bring comfort, stability, and blessing. It is not meant to be reckless, impulsive, or purely emotional. This is why Islam emphasizes boundaries, respect, and patience. When we love according to Islamic guidance, our actions are measured, intentional, and considerate. We do not act solely on a passing feeling, but with an awareness of the rights and responsibilities involved. Love becomes not only an emotion, but also a moral commitment, a conscious choice to nurture and protect the other person's heart and dignity. One of the greatest gifts of Islamic love is that it protects from harm. Emotional trends may encourage extremes, jealousy, obsession, selfishness, and impatience. But Islamic values teach moderation, self-control, and wisdom. Love guided by faith is disciplined. It understands the importance of timing, maturity, and suitability. It ensures that relationships are built on mutual respect, honesty, and a shared commitment to what is right, rather than on what is convenient or temporarily thrilling. Islam also reminds us that love is most meaningful when it is sincere and consistent. Society may celebrate extravagant gestures for a single day or a specific occasion, but true love is demonstrated in the ordinary moments of daily life. It is the kindness you show when no one is watching, the patience you exercise during difficult times, the support you provide when challenges arise. These are the acts that build strong, lasting bonds. They are far more significant than a fleeting trend or a public display designed to impress others. Furthermore, Islamic love is timeless because it is rooted in accountability to Allah. When we love in ways that are pleasing to Allah, our intentions are protected, our actions are guided, and our hearts find contentment. Cultural trends may come and go, but love built on faith remains blessed, even in the face of difficulties. It does not fade with fashion, peer pressure, or public opinion. It withstands tests, grows through patience, and becomes a source of comfort, stability, and joy for both individuals and families. In essence, Islam teaches us that love is not a temporary feeling to be celebrated once a year, nor is it a superficial emotion in flu. NCED by changing social trends. True love is a consistent practice, grounded in respect, patience, and faith. It is nurtured daily through small acts of care, compassion, and understanding. While the world's emotional trends may be fleeting and unreliable, Islamic values ensure that love is protected, meaningful, and everlasting, bringing peace to the heart and blessings from Allah in this life and the next. Every day presents an opportunity to practice love in ways that are meaningful, sincere, and pleasing to Allah. Too often, people associate love with grand gestures, special occasions, or dramatic displays of emotion. The truth, however, is that the most profound expressions of love are often quiet, consistent, and grounded in good character. Islam teaches us that love is not confined to a single day or event. It is a daily practice that can touch every aspect of our lives, from our relationships with family and spouses to our interactions with neighbors and even strangers. A smile, for example, is considered an act of charity in Islam. Something so simple yet so powerful can convey warmth, care, and compassion. It can brighten someone's day, ease tension, and foster a sense of connection. When we smile at others, we are practicing love in a manner that is both subtle and profound. Similarly, acts of kindness, whether helping a neighbor carry groceries, offering words of encouragement, or simply listening with patience, are daily expressions of love that require neither grandeur nor recognition. These small, consistent actions accumulate over time, strengthening relationships and building trust, harmony, and goodwill. Love in the Islamic framework also extends to family. Honoring parents, caring for children, and supporting spouses are not merely duties, they are daily opportunities to manifest love. Speaking gently to one's children, guiding them with patience, and nurturing their moral and spiritual growth demonstrates love in a way that is continuous and enduring. Likewise, serving and respecting one's parents is an ongoing act of devotion that reflects love beyond mere sentiment. The Prophet emphasized the importance of these relationships, reminding us that love expressed through service, respect, and care carries immense reward and builds strong, lasting bonds. Marriage is another domain where love is expressed daily. Islam teaches that love between spouses is not about occasional gestures on special days. It is about consistent care, patience, and loyalty. Preparing a meal, helping with household responsibilities, showing appreciation, forgiving mistakes, and supporting each other through trials. These are all manifestations of love that happen every day. Through these acts, spouses strengthen their bond, cultivate mutual respect, and create an environment where love can flourish naturally and safely. Love in Islam is also connected to justice, honesty, and moral responsibility. When we act with fairness, avoid harming others, and uphold our commitments, we are practicing a form of love that protects hearts and relationships. This principle extends beyond family and friends to the broader community. Being truthful, fulfilling promises, and showing compassion toward those in need are daily opportunities to reflect love in action. Even small, seemingly mundane choices, like speaking kindly to a colleague, forgiving a mistake, or helping someone quietly without recognition, carry immense significance. One of the most powerful aspects of daily love in Islam is that it aligns our hearts with the pleasure of Allah. Every act of care, patience, and kindness becomes a means of drawing closer to Him. Love is not merely emotional, it is spiritual. When our love is guided by faith, it is protected from selfishness, jealousy, and impulsiveness. It becomes enduring, balanced, and rewarding both in this life and the hereafter. Ultimately, every day is an opportunity to love in a way that is genuine, continuous, and spiritually grounded. Love is expressed through small acts, consistent care, patience, kindness, and moral responsibility. It is not limited to a single day on the calendar or to dramatic displays. By practicing love daily in ways that honor Allah and benefit those around us, we transform ordinary moments into blessings, hearts into sources of comfort, and relationships into enduring bonds of affection and mercy. True love in Islam is lived every day, and through this consistency, it becomes a profound, meaningful, and timeless part of our lives. In conclusion, the message of love in Islam is profound, timeless, and far deeper than any single day or fleeting emotion. While the world may celebrate love through dates, gifts, and temporary displays, Islam teaches that true love is a way of life, rooted in respect, patience, mercy, and faith. It begins with the heart's connection to Allah, grows through daily acts of kindness and commitment, and is nurtured in relationships that honor dignity, responsibility, and shared values. Love in Islam is not an event to be marked on a calendar, but a consistent practice that shapes our character, strengthens our bonds with family and community, and brings peace to the heart. Every smile, every act of care, every moment of patience, and every effort to serve others is a reflection of love in its most sincere and meaningful form. By embracing love in this holistic, daily, and spiritually grounded way, we move beyond fleeting trends and cultivate a love that is enduring, blessed, and pleasing to Allah, one that enriches our lives in this world and the next. May Allah grant us hearts that love for His sake, relationships that please Him, and a form of love that brings peace in this world and success in the next. Ameen.